Welcome back to DONSLIFE. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. If you've been following along, you know that we've been tracking the GM 6.2 liter L87 engine recall, from what's officially documented to what real-world owners are actually experiencing. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'll be walking you through an owner's recent experience from a dealership after purchasing a truck affected by this recall. This owner emailed me and gave me permission to share this story. I'm going to have to leave it up to you to draw your own conclusions, but there are some inconsistencies that raise some questions. This video is not to call anybody out. Instead, the goal here is to share a first-hand account, and I'll learn from it to better understand how this recall is being handled in different parts of the country. If you've gone through something similar, drop a comment below, reach out to me, but the more stories that we gather, the clearer the picture becomes. Let's go. The owner, who recently purchased a 2022 Chevrolet Silverado Z71 LTZ 6.2 liter V8, knew about the recall going in. This purchase was made barely a month ago in early May 2025. The dealer that he bought it from confirmed that no work had been done yet related to this recall, and his Chevy app also seemed to tell the same story. A few days after the purchase, the owner decided to take a look under the hood, and he noticed that the oil cap said 0W40. How could this oil cap already be in place if no work related to the recall had been done yet? Upon further inspection, he found the insert in the owner's manual that recommended to use 0W40 oil going forward. Based on what we know, these are the things we should find after the recall service has been performed. He hadn't checked these details at the time of purchase, but in hindsight, it made him curious. Was this truck serviced before being sold? Or were these just prep items from an earlier routine visit? Nothing was clear at this point. Shortly after, the dealership reached out offering to schedule a service or even come pick up the truck themselves. Was this proactive customer care or possibly a sign of missed internal communication? Again, hard to say, but the timing of it all caught his attention. So he brought the truck in for service, documenting everything beforehand, including photos of the oil cap and the insert in his owner's manual. Along with this recall, he also reported he was having some issues with lane assist and collision detection. At the drop-off, the service manager indicated that while most 6.2 liter trucks don't have a remedy yet, this one does. That struck him as odd. After the weekend, he had been notified that his truck is ready and had been deemed safe. When he picked up the truck, the service department was closed, so he ended up speaking to his salesperson. According to the invoice, the oil cap, the oil filter, and the oil had been changed, and it had passed its engine recall test, scoring a .90. There were no charges on this invoice, which is expected whenever you get recall work done. However, at this point, there was no change to the Chevy app. It read as it did before going in for service. Out of curiosity, he pulled the dipstick and noticed the oil appeared unchanged, and the service sticker also hadn't been updated. This started to raise some doubt on whether this service was performed as described. To clarify what was done, the owner has plans to meet with the service manager at this location. He has questions as to why the oil appears that it wasn't changed. Why was the oil life not reset in the computer? And why was the new 0W40 oil cap and the insert in the owner's manual already in place before coming in for this service? We spoke back and forth a little bit, and he's also planning to send his oil away for analysis to try to determine when it was in fact changed. He purchased a third-party warranty from the dealership and was told that the new 10-year, 150,000-mile warranty would apply. But no information or documentation was provided at the time of pickup, and it's not reflected in the app either, which we know is one place where that information can reside. He's not making accusations, he's just looking for clarity, trying to figure out if the information in the system actually reflects what has been done to the truck. This story is just one example how the recall process can vary from dealership to dealership, and it highlights how important it is to ask questions, take notes, and just document your experience. It's a very interesting story indeed, and I do want to see how it plays out. So when I get that information, I will share it with you. I do have one more thing that I wanted to talk about right here, but interesting fact, Mrs. DONSLIFE and I took her Escalade into the dealership yesterday for a Super Cruise update. That was part of a recall that needed to be done, and I did ask the service manager how they would handle an oil change if we got it done yesterday. He said they'd only use the 0W20 oil because they haven't officially contacted us with the recall for our vehicle yet. That doesn't surprise me, but I'm curious how long we're gonna have to wait till we officially get notice, knowing that they're gonna start mailing notices as of June 9th. Now, along with the video series I've been doing when it comes to this recall, I've also been reading your comments that you send my way, at least most of them when I have some time. And I wanted to share one with you that just came in this morning. Now, I printed it out here, but you can actually read this in the comment section on one of the videos. I'll link all of the videos in the video description of this video. I'll also overlay this on the screen so you don't have to go digging for it. I did want to highlight this comment because it does speak to the confusion that still exists when it comes to this recall. So Neil Douglas 1980 says, brought our 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali to our local dealership in Alberta for a recall inspection related to the L87 engine. The dealership refused to perform the required inspection and instead replaced the oil with the same viscosity as before. Well, we know just based on my story that that's probably what's going to happen unless you officially get notified for the recall. That's okay, a lot of us were in the same boat. It goes on to say they claim no remedy was available as the reason for declining the proper procedure. However, when I contacted GM customer service, I was informed that the recall is active and the dealership should have completed both the inspection and the oil change using the specified higher viscosity oil as outlined in the recall document. I just spoke with my dealership to inform them of my conversation with GM customer service, but they are still refusing to perform the inspection or the higher viscosity oil change. They remain adamant that the recall is not open despite GM confirming otherwise. So it does go on to say, and Neil mentions it here, and I know I've talked about it in the comment section with some of my videos, but definitely double check your VIN with the GM Experience website because it will give you a clearer idea of exactly the status on your vehicle. I think for those of us that have been following the safety recall very closely, we understand where the confusion probably came in here. But when you have the app telling you one thing, you have GM customer service telling you one thing, and then you have the dealer telling you one thing, and they don't all say the same things, that can be confusing. If you've had an experience you'd like to share, good or bad, you can talk about it here in the comments section. You can reach out to me via email with photos, documents, your story, whatever you prefer. That's listed in the video description below as well. The more stories we share, the better we can understand how this recall is being handled across North America and where improvements might be needed. I was just about to wrap up filming and another one came in here. I'm going to read it. It's something I'll overlay on the screen. It's titled Not a GM Sucks Story. Hello, this is actually a way more positive story than I anticipated. Based on the hype and variability in customer treatment with the 6.2 liter engine failures, I was deeply disturbed when my 6.2 liter failed at 35,000 miles. It is now 18 days after engine failure. The dealership got me a rental, a 2024 GMC Sierra to replace my vehicle, and they are presently test driving the vehicle now 18 days later with the new engine already replaced. Based on internet stories, I was ready for a 6-week to 6-month wait, but in my case, General Motors seems to have gotten its act together and seemingly moved very quickly. I have no idea if my experience is to become more commonplace or whether my good luck is a one-off, but I did want to let you know that GM seems to be logistically catching up. Thanks for all the content. Your information is very useful. Well, that's a feel-good story. If you found this video helpful or informative, please hit that like button. Please consider subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.